All right, Titans. We wanted to send out our safety plans this week to you. So we wanted to give you a very brief update. We want to keep this short for your engagement. We know we could talk for probably hours here about all the details, but we just want to give you a brief overview and then make sure we open up lines of communication. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to us. So my name, I didn't introduce myself yet. My name is Jeff Spilker, and I'm the principal here at Papio South, and I'm joined by...
I'm Jessica Prusha. I'm the assistant principal, and I will oversee the freshmen this year at Papio South.
Yep, and we just want to take you through our back to school plans for the 2020-2021 school year, which will begin here in less than a week. It's going to be a great school year. We truly believe that. There's going to be challenge, obstacles, and hurdles along the way, but together we will succeed. We have an unbelievable community. We have awesome students, a great staff. We have great parents. This is a great community. We know that we will all come together and we will succeed and make this a great school year. Our goals of the plan, you can see listed. Big thing we're trying to do is we're trying to keep our students and our staff healthy. That is our number one priority. The golden rule of education here at Papio South is treat each child as if they were your very own. And I know I want my kids to be safe and healthy in school, and we're gonna treat our students here like they're our very own. And we're gonna keep them safe and we're gonna keep them healthy. We really have put a lot of health precautions in place to make this a safe and healthy environment. And that's really what we want to get in front of you today and take you through. Quick overview of the plan. Students and staff are going to return to school for in-person learning. There's going to be many health precautions put in place. We do have alternate plans ready if the health situation requires us to switch to a 50% model or a 50%, a remote learning model. So we have those 50% plans and remote learning ready to go if needed. Our plans are all about the 3 W's and the 3 C's. The 3 W's are wear a face mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Everything that we do in the classroom, everything we do in the hallway, everything we do in the cafeteria, it's going to be all about the 3 W's and then the 3 C's. The 3 C's are closed spaces with poor airflow, crowded places with many people, and close contact settings with face-to-face conversations without masks. So we're going to make sure the 3 W's are in action, and we're going to make sure we're doing our best to try to stay away from the 3 C's. Guidelines that are going to be new to us this year is visitors are going to be by appointment only. And when I say that, we're really going to try to keep visitors out of the building. Same thing with volunteers. We're not going to have school assemblies this year. That's the plan. If that changes, that would be great, but we don't see ourselves being able to have those this school year. We're not going to allow locker use. There's going to be no food or gift deliveries. We're going to need your help on that because I know it's very common in the past that we'd have parents drop off, maybe a special lunch for a birthday or drop off a gift or something like that. That's not going to be allowed this year because we want to make sure we're keeping this a safe setting for all. We'll also run 2 health offices this school year.
And just like the health and safety of our students is important, so is their social and emotional well-being. What we plan to do here at Papio South is to continue focus on relationship building. It's always been a strength of ours, and we plan to continue that in our classrooms. We also are going to have empathy for each student and each staff member's situation. We understand each family is in a very different situation during this pandemic, and we want to be empathetic to all those situations. And last but not least, we also want to promote the availability of our support staff to students. So making sure they know who their counselors are, where our social workers' office is, to help them with any needs that they might be struggling with here during the last 5 months of kind of being in isolation away from their peers.
Yeah, it's been a tough 5 months. We know that our students are extremely well supported at home, but we also know they need that extra support here at school, and we're ready to provide that for them. So we're looking forward to having them back in the school so we can provide some supports for the social and emotional well-being. Masks are a big part of our plan. Like we talked about the 3 W's, wear a mask. Staff and students will wear masks. That's the only way that this can work at this time. The mindset here is I will protect you and you will protect me. If we want to be in school and have school activities, then we all need to do this. If a student refuses to wear a mask, that does become a discipline issue. We're not looking to suspend kids because they won't wear masks. We're looking to problem solve and troubleshoot, but we do need everybody in a mask. We will have masks available to both students and staff that are in need. So if there's a situation where somebody needs a mask, we'll get them one. We do encourage students and staff to bring their own mask from home, something that they're comfortable with wearing. But if they do need one, we're going to have some Titan ones available. We're going to have some of the medical disposable ones available. So we'll make sure everybody has the masks to be worn at all times.
Okay, before school. At 7:40, a bell will ring, and we will go to our first period classroom for a study hall before our first period starts. We will have the doors locked until 6:55 a.m. And that way, if students need to arrive earlier than 7:40, they can do so. But we are really not going to try to unlock those doors before 6:55 to try to prevent, the spread of any germs that may occur, and to have large students loitering in certain areas. If you do arrive before 7:40, we're going to have specific areas of the building for students to wait for that 7:40 bell to ring. Juniors and seniors, you will be going to the main gym. Sophomores, you will head over to the Shield, and freshmen will be in the cafeteria. At 7:40, that bell will ring, and we will head right up to our first period class. Also, parents, please do not forget, Wednesday morning is kind of a very sacred time for our teachers, where they do a lot of planning and collaborating. So a bell will ring at 8:05, and that at 8:05 students will be then sent up to their first period classes at 8:05. I cannot stress enough, we really need to work as a team on this to really make sure we can get our students to school as close to that 7:40 time as possible. I understand each family is in a very unique situation, but carpool with your friends, find neighbors, and let's really kind of make this a team effort to really keep those hallways clear before school.
Yep. So school will still start at 8 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8:20 on Wednesdays. We're just encouraging students to, when they get here, go straight to class. If they get here before 7:40 on a normal school day or 8:05 on a Wednesday, then they'll be in one of those meeting spaces. We're releasing them early from those meeting spaces so we don't get those overcrowded before school. So it's going to be a situation that if everybody works together, we can keep everybody healthy and safe before school starts. Classroom, our desks are going to be spaced out as much as possible. All students are going to be facing the same direction. Items in the classroom that take extra space and are not necessary are going to be removed. We prop our doors open so that way we don't have those high touch areas. Our passes used to be lanyards that they'd wear in the pass or something they'd carry. We're going to get rid of those. We're going to do our passes electronic this year. Teachers will spray desks during the last few minutes of the class, and then students will wipe their own desk with paper towels that will be made available to them. They will not be handling chemicals. It's a neutralizer that we use during the day. It's similar to like a soapy water. Disinfectant will then happen at nights by the custodians. Shared equipment will be wiped down each hour. And then our advisory teachers and our science teachers are encouraged to allow students to wash their hands during those times. So really, students can wash their hands anytime. But we're going to make it a point to also make sure that they wash their hands during Titan time and during science class, because that's when we have a little bit extra time to fit that in.
All right, as far as textbooks go, two really important things when it comes to textbooks. We are going to link our online textbook and make sure students have access to all those online textbooks. We're going to use those as much as possible. If for some reason an online textbook is not an option, we will have one class set of books that will be in underneath students' desks. So students will use those books during class. We'll take them, we'll wipe them down after each class period. And specifically, we put them underneath the desk, so there's only a certain number of students touching those per day. Also, we really made a point to make sure that we've got these accessible, the online and the textbook in classrooms only, because as we'll discuss here in a little bit, students will not have access to lockers, and we're really trying to limit the heaviness of those backpacks too this year.
Yeah, we know they're going to have their own personal belongings, and then they're going to have a few textbooks. We don't want 100-pound textbook or 100-pound backpacks, being carried around. We want to make sure we try to avoid that. So the great thing is a lot of their textbooks will be online. The ones that aren't will be in their backpack. They combine that with a few notebooks and a few folders, and it should not be overloaded. Hallways, motion helps us with health and safety, so we want to keep students moving. We are going to have way more hallway space this year because we're opening the freshman wing with 20 classrooms, and we're opening the STEM wing. So our hallway capacity will be dropped by 25% just by opening those new areas. So that's going to allow us to do much more social distancing in the hallways. We won't allow loitering in the popular areas like the Hall of Champions or the Shield or outside the cafeteria. Masks will be worn in the hallways. Hand sanitizer stations will be available in the hallways, just like they will be in the classrooms. I didn't mention this with classrooms, but the common theme will be they'll use hand sanitizer, get those hands when they enter a classroom, do the same when they exit, and then there'll be hand sanitizer stations in the hallways that can be used at any time they're out and about in those areas. Lunch, we're gonna have 4 to table. Tables are gonna be added in the hallway near the cafeteria. There's gonna be touchless checkout for the students so they can just scan a barcode that they can have on their phone. Students will need to wear a mask when they're in the serving area and when they're not eating. Students will not gather in lines and wait to go in the serving area. They'll immediately go to their table, and then we'll come by and dismiss them to go get their food. And then after they're done eating, when the lunch period's ending, we'll come by their table and dismiss them again. The table will be wiped down by either staff or have students helping. And once again, we'll use a neutralizer at that time. And then we want to also mention that there won't be hot bar or salad bar this year. So the salad bar was kind of that buffet line type thing. Same with the hot bar. Those two will be taken away from this year. In the cafeteria, students will not have assigned seats, but they will be asked to sit in a consistent spot. They can still change if they need to, but we really want to encourage them to pick a seat and trying to stick with that seat so that we can have consistency with who they're exposed to during lunch.
Okay, after school, we are going to be staggering dismissal after school. So we'll use a couple dismissal times. 3:18 will be our first release time. The 9th grade wing will release at 3:18 every day. And out those south doors, we've got a really nice space that it's very easy and accessible.
So that's where, right outside those south doors that Ms. Bruce is talking about, that's where the buses will come. So it's good to have parents be kind of in that area because all those 9th graders will most likely leave those south doors. So when they exit out those south doors, you know, being parked in that parking lot or in that area by the 9th grade wing will be a great spot to pick your student up.
And then 3:22 will be our second release time, and we will alternate that by week. So first floor will be released at 3:22 the first week, and then the second week it would be 3:18. So we're really going to try to alternate that. Buses will run at normal time, so our staggered release time will not affect bus routes in any way. Students not involved in an activity will be expected to leave campus immediately after the school day. We would like to have every student off campus by 4 p.m. if they are not involved in an activity. You're not going to be allowed to loiter in any commons areas in the Shield cafeteria because we really are trying to clear that building as quickly as possible. This is going to be another time where we're really going to have to work as a team with parents and staff and administration and carpool with neighbors, hop in with a friend. If it's nice, walk, and we're really going to try to clear the building so our custodians could start cleaning it as soon as possible.
Yep. The fine arts, a lot of questions about choir and band. We're going to spread those groups out. We do have the flexible learning space, which is one of our new bond issue additions this year. That will be a large space where we can have choir class. We also have our theater that can be used. So our drama group, along with our choir and band, will be sharing those areas. The band is going to be encouraged to spend as much time outside as possible when it's weather permitting here during marching season. The DHMs are going to determine if we're allowed to have concerts, plays, performances, etc. Right now, we would be able to have those at 50% since we are in phase 3. If we get to phase 4, then that would be a 75% capacity for indoor events. So we'll be in touch with you when it gets time for concerts and things like that and plays, and we'll let you know what are the details with that.
Alrighty, PE and locker rooms. So again, this is going to be another time it's going to be very important to socially distance. And we are going to need to do so in the PE area. So we are going to have staggered dressing times for students. So half the students will go in, dress out, while the other half are taking attendance, and then we'll flip-flop those two groups. Social distancing will focus for staff when organizing activities as well. So we are really going to try to ask our PE teachers to go outside as much as possible while the weather is nice, because that gives us an ample amount of opportunities to social distance. Also, everything will be wiped down after every class period. So if we're playing softball, that bat and that ball is going to be wiped down after every class period. And then as far as staggered dressing times before class, same thing's going to happen after class. half the class will be asked to dress out or dress back into the normal clothes. And then those two groups will flip flop just like they did at the beginning.
The nurse's office, we're gonna have 2 spaces this year. One will be for healthy students and one will be for potentially ill students. So if a student is needing something that is like a Band-Aid, or they need to take a medication, or they need to do a blood sugar check or something like that, they'd go to the healthy office. If they're not feeling well, they would go to the ill office, and we'd keep those 2 areas separate. In the ill office, we will keep social distancing. So anybody that's ill and goes to the ill office, we will be keeping social distancing so they don't really come in contact with any other students. So the great thing is we're gonna be able to run 2 nurses' offices this year so we can keep everybody safe. And then we're gonna have PPE available for our workers and for our students.
Open house and parent night, that is going to look a little bit different given our times. We'll do both of these online. And what we are going to do is we're going to build out a staff directory, and then each teacher will give a short introduction about who they are and what their class is. So again, given the times, it will look a little bit different, but we really want you guys to get to know your students' teachers.
Water fountains and vending machines. Water fountains are off limits. We've shut them off. They can't be used. But we do have bottle fillers. We have about 6 bottle fillers in our school. So it's going to be a good idea to send your student to school with a water bottle that they can fill up at one of the water bottle filling stations. Those are touchless. And then our day custodians will wipe down machines consistently. So kids can also purchase drinks at the vending machines if they choose to do so. But we want to make sure they have access to water. So we have our water bottle filling stations still open while the drinking fountains will remain closed.
And then as far as district transportation goes, this goes for all buses and all vans. Students will wear masks. They will run traditional routes, normal arrival and dismissal times. And our bus pickup zone is going to be those south doors over by the 9th grade wing. Again, 9th grade parents, a really great spot to also come pick up your kids and easy access out of the parking lot. And between rides, everything is cleaned, everything is sanitized to make sure it's ready to go for the next group of kids.
Yep. Buses and vans are going to be wiped down. I know that's the big, and I know Ms. Prusha mentioned that, but there's a lot of people. What about buses? They will be wiped down by our bus drivers. Exposure protocol is something we've also gotten a lot of questions on. Communication is going to be happening from our building administration as well as our health department if there is any exposures here at school. As to what that communication is going to be, it all depends on the type of contact as to what is going to happen. There's really 2 types of contact. There's low risk and there's high risk. Low risk would be such as myself and Ms. Prusha right now. We are sitting a little bit closer than 6 feet to film this, but we're both wearing a mask. So the exposure between the 2 of us would be low risk. So if Ms. Prusha were to get coronavirus, I would be considered low risk. I would monitor myself. I would do self-checks. If I come down with any symptoms, I'm going to quarantine. But if I'm healthy, then I can continue with my everyday activities. High risk would be if we were doing this without masks on. If we didn't have a mask and we were sitting next to each other for greater than 15 minutes, less than 6 feet, then we are high risk and we're going to have some quarantine protocol. So I'm going to attach a document to this email, and it's going to give you a little bit more information on our exposure protocol. Just keep in mind that confidentiality is very important, and please always reach out if you have questions. If you're like, why haven't I been notified? Because something happened. We've had that happen a couple times over the summer. We've had a phone call from a parent saying, well, there's this issue in this activity. Why didn't I get a phone call? And it's like, well, there's not an issue in that activity. There was a friend of a friend that had an issue and it was connected to that activity, but there's been no case in that activity. So sometimes the information we get is not always accurate. And that's why we love to communicate with you guys. So that way we can make sure everybody has accurate information. So we're going to attach more information on what all of this looks like in your email.
As far as fall activities go, all fall sports are a go currently. We are going to probably reduce spectators for fall sports, and that will be rolling out soon what that looks like. Current regulations right now is a 50% capacity when inside and a 75% capacity outside. So again, when we move the DHMs to level 4, again, we don't know when that will be. It will look a little bit different, but for right now, 50% capacity inside and 75% outside for those of you who are wanting to attend a volleyball game, a football game, or anything along those lines.
Yep. So just some final thoughts here. None of us have ever experienced what we're going to endure and accomplish this year. But just keep in mind, as a staff here at Papillion South, we want to keep your kid healthy and safe. We want to treat each child as if they were our very own. We're all in this together. Please reach out if you need anything. We are here for you. When we're all together, we're going to be our best. So let's all stick together. Let's communicate, and let's take care of our students, because they matter a lot to us, and I know they matter a lot to you. So thanks for tuning in. Any questions, comments, please follow up with us. And last but not least, go Titans.
Go Titans! See you in a few days.